All right, well, 1-0 Sting. That was an interesting period, to say the least. I mean, there was a lot of different things going out there that I was like, really? Like, there was a goal in, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that one was kind of up in the air. Usually, when they call those back and we get to see the replay on it, I can be pretty objective about it and say, that was the right call to make. But that one, I don't know. That one was kind of
well,
up
it wasn't
in the
even
air.
a call by Guelph. It was the referees. I thought it just said, no.
They waved that off right away.
I was like, no.
Wasn't really sure why, but I mean, hey, it is
Liked
what
to
it
see
is.
the
But
replay, anyway, we could argue that all day, but it's 1-0 regardless. 13 shots to the 5 for us. And we really saw some aggression at the really beginning here. Like I thought there was going to be a fight, like almost from whistle.
It was, yeah, and probably for the first 2 or 3 whistles, very aggressive, and it was like Guelph just coming out trying to. I don't know if they were trying to assert their dominance.
It was like where was it coming from?
It made no sense, really. Like for being game 1 of a 7-game series, to come out and try to start things like that, I don't know what they were thinking with that. Not sure what they were trying to accomplish, but I mean, it got shut down really quick because they changed their game plan up. Very quickly.
And it makes you wonder sometimes if there's other things going on that we don't see or hear. Like, is there something from 10 games ago that's payback time or whatever? But that wouldn't be my choice, especially if I'm Guelph against the Sarnia Sting, because statistically the Sarnia Sting should be winning this game. So if I'm the underdog, I don't know. It just made no sense to me. So who knows what's happening?
It's definitely a confusing first few minutes of this game.
Yeah,
but,
that's a good way to put it.
Things changed around really quick. Like we said, right? Like first 3 or 4 minutes, first 2-3 whistles, something like that. There was a lot of that extra aggression, pushing, shoving, a couple of hands get thrown around.
Right.
Not really sure why, but I mean, then it stopped, and rightfully so. I mean, Sarnia just.
Well, I think
right?
that aggression. But I think the referees deserve some credit for taking control there. I mean, their job out there too is to make sure things are as safe as far as hockey goes.
Yeah. They probably got there as you guys are playing with the aggression of about a game 6. We're at game 1. We got a long road to go in just this series and beyond. So let's kind of settle it down. Let's play some hockey. There's no need for that yet.
Yeah, yet.
Yeah,
right. Keyword and all of that. Okay, here is Connor Burke that I promised last time that we would show this. I mean, this is really getting into it. Like, Gene Simmons doesn't spend that much time getting ready for a show, I don't think, right? So I saw Connor, and he said, don't worry, I won't wear this on Sunday as your host. I said, no, please go for it, right? I love that kind of stuff. So thanks, Connor. He'll be here joining me on Sunday for the afternoon game.
I did see him up close and personal, but on my way to my
seat
there after I left here. He looks great.
It's awesome, right? Well, that's true spirit here with the Sarnia Sting, and that's been hey, how you doing? Good to see you. There's another thing right there, Lee. I've seen people that I have not seen at a game in a really long time, and they're coming out and they're giving their support here to the Sarnia Sting, where maybe they haven't before, but maybe all of a sudden they got a wake-up call and said, I should really go see what this Sting thing's all about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about it before the game, too, right? Like, this isn't some hockey game that you just come watch and experience. It's something you go do, and it's something you're going to remember. It's something you're going to talk about for, hours after, days after.
Right.
Like, this season has been an experience. It is something that we're all going to remember, something that we went and did night after night in this rink. It was, I couldn't tell you much about a Detroit Red Wing game I went to a couple of years ago. I couldn't tell you about the Toronto Maple Leaf game I went to preseason this year, but I can tell you how I felt almost every single time I walked into this building this year.
That's right. It is a feeling for sure, and it's shared by so many, and that's great to see. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's happening out there on the ice. So as far as playing goes, I mean, obviously we're ahead right now, but did you feel like the Sting, like I know I always bring up the speed of a period, but I kind of felt like, I don't know, we were just kind of gliding through that. It wasn't a ton of speed in that, I didn't think.
I think they're just getting prepared for a long series. It's not like the regular season, where they play a couple of games on the weekend, then they get 4 or 5 days off.
Right.
This is like, play one on, one off. This is like a real 7-game series. And it's going to be a long series, especially when you have to play the same team, possibly 7 games back-to-back.
Right.
They're pacing themselves.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too, to see Max Nemesnikov, who's out there, who formerly of the Sarnia Sting. Ever since he's been with the Guelph Storm, in fact, from the moment he stepped on the ice with them, things really started to turn around for me. Started playing hockey.
Yeah, I really enjoyed him here as a Sting, and I was kind of sad to see him go.
Yeah, me too.
But like with every trade this year, I was proved wrong. I was not happy to see a lot of the players that left this season. Wasn't too happy to see them go. Porter Martone, Chandler Romeo, so many of them, right? Like Angus McDonald.
Yeah.
Like all the players that I really, really liked to watch play, and I was always very upset when it was announced that they were leaving, but I was wrong in every single instance.
Were you upset that they were leaving, or were you upset that they didn't call and ask you your permission first?
No, I was just upset that they were leaving. I wasn't going to see them play hockey.
You know what?
But it worked out so good on both ends. I think almost without fail, every player that came into Sarnia obviously is doing well. We talked about that night after night. But all the ones that left, too, they're thriving in their new roles and their new teams. Like Matt Nemestikov is like the perfect example of that. He was doing well here. I enjoyed watching him play, but he really turned up his game since he went over to Guelph.
There really is something to be said for it. Well, like that marriage, you just click, you get along. Maybe there's a vibe in the locker room that you didn't have before, and now you're getting that out there. So maybe that's what's happened there. Pardon me. Carry on for a moment, because I got a cough.
Angus McDonald's still doing very, very well where he's at. So it's just all the moves made. I'm glad that I was wrong. I don't say that I'm wrong very often. If I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Thankfully, it doesn't happen too often.
Is your wife watching this?
If she is, she's agreeing with me.
She's recording.
She'll agree that I don't admit to it very much, but she might not agree to it that I'm not wrong very often.
Okay, there you go. Well, it's interesting to see what's going to happen here in the second period. Is always this has been another conversation all season. It always seems to be the strongest period for the Sarnia Sting. But as of late, that has sort of changed a bit. We've been seeing all 60 minutes of hockey here, but I would like to see the speed get picked up a little bit more here in the second period. And we were kind of getting back in those corners again a little bit, I felt, and that's been a weakness for the Sarnia Sting.
It has been, but they've been stepping up their game in that way, too. Like guys like Sasha Pasachov. If he's on the ice and he's the one going after the puck in the corner, he's usually the one to be successful to come out of it. The rest of the guys on this team, maybe they're a little bit behind in where they need to be, like their teammate is.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like it doesn't work out to our advantage too often in situations like that. But they have stepped up their game in that regard, even though they're still not as good as they need to be. They're better than they used to be.
Yeah, passing has been really good in this period, I thought, as well. A little more direct. I mean, there's always a few missed ones there, or it got to the general area. Maybe once or twice where there was a pass and there was nobody home to get it. But they recovered it really well. And the penalty kill that has been happening out here seems to be another strength of the Sarnia Sting right now.
I've been feeling like their penalty kill has been really strong. Their penalty kill has been better than their power play all season long. I wouldn't even be surprised if you told me we have more shorthanded goals than we've had power play goals all season long. Always been very, very strong on the penalty kill, and it just seems to be getting better every time, too.
Yeah, we have some of the leaders in power plays in that, like Sasha Pasachov, Ty Voigt still in there. A lot of milestones happening here with, Ty Voigt got his 100 points. Nolan Berkey got his 50th goal. We've seen a couple of the other players that hit their 40th and a little bit beyond right now.
Yeah,
so
just there at the last couple of games.
Right,
yeah.
So you kind of wonder if we're going to see some more milestones during this playoff period of hockey.
I hope so, yeah. I don't know what we're going to be able to see unless they can kind of maybe put up some Stamkos kind of numbers in the playoffs.
Well, you never know, right?
But, I have a feeling we're going to see some very impressive numbers as far as Sarnia Sting records go, because I think we're going to see our team go a little bit deeper than we've historically ever seen the Sarnia Sting.
Well, they're definitely going to have to do that, because I was talking to some folks, it is far from over. The path to getting here has been its own journey, but now when you get into playoff hockey outside of the regular season, it really is a whole different type of game of hockey out there.
Oh, most definitely. And we touched on that a little bit earlier. You're playing more often. It's not the 2 games a week, maybe 3 games a week, and then they get some time off. They're on the rink every playing one game, on the ice practicing, working on problems the next game, playing again the next game, and having to play the same team back to back.
Yeah,
that can be its own problem, especially when you're seeing a lot of aggression, a lot of bad feelings out there.
Yeah.
That I don't know if that's what we're seeing out there. It looked like it at the very beginning.
Something's going on out there.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like we'll see where that goes over the next couple of games. Like we're going to be playing the Guelph Storm here a minimum 4 times over the next week or so. So we'll see at around game 3, game 4 where that aggression level and where that takes us.
And you bring up a really good point just before we go. Like when you're playing the same game, same team back to back to back, you're also there's that predictability that each team has that advantage over. Well, last time we played them, like time doesn't go by and have to go back and figure it out again. You're constantly figuring out what's happening with the other team.
Yeah, exactly. Probably through the regular season, after you step off the ice with a Guelph Storm, you're going back into the locker room and you're going back into the media room and you're talking about a different team. Last time we played them 3 months ago, this is what happened. Playoff hockey, you're going in like, this is what happened last night. This is what we have to look for tomorrow. This is what happened on Monday. This is what we have to keep an eye out for tonight when we hit the rink. So, yeah, it's a very, very different type of game when you're playing the same team back-to-back like this.
For sure. Well, a lot of strong points for the Sarnia Sting. And, again, leading right now 1-0. There's my gopher saying that it's almost time. When he comes on, that's my cue, right? So, how you doing? So, looking forward to seeing what happens coming out after the second period. Lee Bazeley will join me once again. And, of course, we'll have the post-game press conference here. You never know who's going to show up there, so keep an eye out for that. Once again, from the concourse for the Sarnia Sting, I'm David Burrows and my friend Lee Bazeley. 1, 2, 3, go Sting, go!